So this week we've been talking about product photography, and one of the tools that's going to be really helpful for us is what we're going to be making today, which is a DIY, basically a light box or a diffusion box. And it's going to be very similar to kind of some of the things that we did with our reflectors and our diffusion panel, although this one's going to be specifically made just to put products inside of. And sometimes with products, we might need to have a really soft light all the way around it, especially if the object has like curves and things. We don't want like a little point of light that's going to be hitting those curved surfaces. We want it to have a nice big large diffused area. So we're going to be basically using just a couple of supplies. So if we look here, we've got just kind of a large cardboard box. Some parchment paper is what I'm going to be using for my diffusion, although we could use just regular white paper. We could use fabric, sheets, lots of different things. We're just going to need some scissors and tape and some, maybe a ruler and maybe like a pen, something like that. So the basic idea is we need to first start by constructing the box part. So let me move a couple of these things just a little bit out of the way. And I just found an old box that I already had that was around the house. I mean, you could go out and get something new. This one I picked because of the size. There's a couple of things that my wife does that utilize kind of larger objects, and so I wanted to make kind of a big box. So we're just going to close up one of these ends, and then we're just going to, just tape this so that it stays closed, and it'll also give it some structural integrity. And again, you could use any kind of tape. I'm just using clear tape, like a packing tape, but if you needed to use duct tape or if you had to use masking tape, anything could work. So just be flexible and work with what you have. So then now that we've got the box put together, we're going to be basically cutting out panels on each of these sides. So we're going to do it on 3 surfaces. So I'm just going to save this part here as my bottom. So I'll take this side off the top and then the opposite side. Now, the parchment that I happen to be working with is 15 inches across, right? So I think it says on here that it's 15 inches wide. So this box should be 16 in one direction and 18 and 18. So let's just double check. My ruler happens to be 18 inches. So this part's the part that's 16, and then this part here is 18. So since my paper is 15, then I can easily, trim it and leave, probably just so we have some overlap. If I leave an inch on both sides of this, that'll give us 14 inches. So we have a little bit that's going to overhang. And then because I can cut the parchment at whatever direction or whatever length I want, again, I'll probably leave about an inch or so on each of those. So probably the easiest thing to do would just be use my ruler. The width of the ruler should be pretty close to an inch. And I'm just going to do that just for simplicity. I'm just going to mark this all the way out. There we go. And just to double check, you can see that that's 13 1/4, something like that. So we'll have, about 3/4 of an inch that'll overhang, which will be great. And I want to leave enough of this so that it's got some structural integrity. I don't want it to get too woggly and start to fall over, those sorts of things. So I'm just going to go and just insert the blade all the way through and then just pull straight across. So there's our first side. And again, because this is 16, we're just going to use the same method on this side. So there's our second side. And then we'll just do our final side here. So there we go. So now we've got our bottom. So this way this will be able to sit up, and we've got a opening on all sides. We'll keep this part for now because that might help with lens flare and those sort of things. So we'll keep those open flaps there. And so this is where our light panel part's going to go. And then basically all we need to do is we've got, again, this part's 13, so our paper is going to be just wider than that. So we'll just tear off a piece that extends all the way out there and then just tape it in place. And again, just use whatever you have. So if you don't have parchment paper, use, white paper and do it in 2 panels. So again, we're just going to pull that out there, and then we'll just tear off a little piece. And for right now, I'm just going to tack it to this top part here. and not overlap it, because I think if I do, I can have it hold the other piece of paper as well. Look at that on there well. And so then I'm just going to go ahead and rotate this. There we go. And so then this next part, again, this is our 13 inches, so we'll just make a piece that's the same length. So there's our box. You can see just from the inside that it's just being illuminated. So one of the things we're going to use for backdrops, we can use something that's just like poster board, cut it down. Could just be like, art paper that you've got for, drawing and writing on. Sometimes those come in long, kind of butcher paper size rolls. I specifically have something in mind that I'm going to use. I'm actually going to let my wife use this, see if she likes it. She does a lot of things outside, and she's always fighting the shade because she knows shade's the best place to shoot. So this will allow her to be able to shoot during the day. So let me just go grab it really quick and see if they'll fit in there okay. So my friend Jack, he makes these great kind of custom made concrete countertops and things like that. And when he's got leftover concrete, he makes these little tiles. And he was cleaning up the other day and gave me a bunch of them. And my wife's been using these for like backgrounds. So I built the box hoping that it would be able to fit inside of there. So let's take a quick look. These should be about 17 inches, so they should slide straight in. So there we go, fits right inside, a little finagling. And then, how we're gonna illuminate this, we've got several options, right? So I've got a lot of like these kind of clip lights, and so they're really nice because they can just kind of attach onto anything. But if I was doing it inside and I didn't have any light source, I could just use these and put one on this side, one on the other side, or a third at the top as well if I wanted to illuminate it from all the way around. And then what's gonna happen is our light inside of here is going to, become nice and soft. It's going to be diffused instead of having like, we pointed it straight inside, it's got this, kind of harsh shadows and things. And let's take a quick look. So right now we're just getting natural light going through there. And so if we took our lamp, right, and if we just pointed it straight at it, it's going to be pretty harsh light, but if instead, we came over and started to shine some light from above, or we can bring it around from over on the side, and start to create much softer light for our camera. I'm going to actually move this back just a little bit. So there's a single light. And then let's go ahead and bring it around. I've got one up here at the top. And so we can move that up or down, within there. Try to change where those highlights are going. You see it's getting that nice highlight right along the lens barrel and that front edge over there. We can cheat it forward if we need to, as opposed to just pointing the light straight at it. Just want to get a nice highlight on that top of that Nikon F, so that Nikon F kind of shows up there at the top. So I just wanted to try really quick our diffusion box outside, because what's nice about, again, it's the daylight, middle of the day, you may want to be able to do a shoot, but we want soft, even light. So moving it out here, let's just take a quick look if we actually move in to shoot. And this is just on a table. So there we go, we're all framed up, and again, we can always touch the front and lock the exposure and brighten it up a little bit, up or down. And we don't want to go too crazy. We can always adjust it in post-production. But you can see we're getting a real nice, soft, even light kind of all the way through there. Let's see what happens if I was to block some of that light. Like if I was to come over here and block that. Just let it come in through the top. Or could block some light from the top of it. I'm just using my head to create a shadow at the top. See if it looks any different. But nice, soft, even light. Nice little drop shadow down at the bottom. got a lot of warmth to it. And then we can also just swap stuff out in and out, real super easy. So that's our light box. Again, I'll pull out.